Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Angry Cast and Fallout Shelter 2022. How y'all doing? It is post Christmas. It's almost New Year's Eve, and we're gonna be doing the party at the end of the world quest. I think next week. But first, I want to get this in. We got two more single stage quests to do, which you'll see on the screen. I'm recording this preemptively, just because there's some things going on that I wanted to sort of talk about, but I don't know that I can do it while I'm playing because my focus is drawn elsewhere. So let's get to those quests, and hopefully we can get them done. So, yeah, it is after Christmas. And my gosh, everything's just. So we haven't sold the house yet. I mean, the house is under contract, and there's a guy interested, but the inspections came back, and he wants some stuff done. And he's going after specialized loans, so that requires a lot of nitpicking through things, and they want certain things repaired, and there's certain things I just can't do because I don't have the money to it. But the biggest thing was that the sewage came back, and there's some roots in my line. Well, it's an old house built in the 70s. Underneath the garage, there's terracotta pipe, and I think there's might be a break or seam somewhere, and roots got in from another tree, and it's causing me a problem. I live in one of those municipalities where the borough or the municipality has to sign off on the sewage inspection, or they will not release the lien letter, which means I cannot engage in selling the house. Oddest thing ever. I didn't realize that was a thing, but apparently the borough or the municipality can keep you from selling your house. It's an oddball thing, but here we are. And so I'm feeling, like, oh my gosh, we're going to run out of money. We're going to do this. I'm going to have to do that. I got to figure out how to come up with money for repair. And, a lot of it is it's to me internalized. It's a big deal. I mean, we've talked about it before. I had a huge breakdown over things, and I'm still kind of there. I'm still kind of stressed out and all that, and with the holidays and everything else, and just it all builds up. Unfortunately, it's nothing. It really is nothing. I mean, I shouldn't complain about what I have going on, because other people are much less fortunate or worse shape. I just found out that a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, went to high school together. We've been friends for a long time. We're almost 30 years out from graduating. Our reunion is coming up next year, and he and his wife, who I was also friends with, good friends. I've known her even longer because we went up through earlier grades together. He had a massive heart attack a couple of days ago. Because I'm recording this, it's after Christmas, but it is the 21st. It's Wednesday the 21st. He had a heart attack early this couple of days ago. He's like me. We're bigger guys. We're 47 years old, 48 years old. So we're our lives are hitting to that point where we are, the rust is starting to show, and the crinks, the crackling, and everything else, and the popping and noises that your body does. That's all happening, and yeah. So I mean, they had gone on vacation, and everything was fine. Got home, started having some issues, and collapsed. And his wife, who was a nurse, administered CPR until the paramedics arrived, and he was on oxygen. He's now sort of in a quote-unquote medically induced coma. I like to call it supercooling. They got a stent put in, and it's keeping his brain function okay, because we don't know exactly what happened from, what kind of damage he could have incurred from this. It's rough because we're not like close, like we hang out all the time. We hang out usually like for parties and holidays and reunions and stuff like that. We see each other a lot. We're friends on social media, that kind of thing. Good guys, salt of the earth people, and they're super nice people, and they've done a ton for me over the years, and I can only hope to repay them in some way for their kindness towards me and issues I've had with animals. But it's rough. Megan and I sat and we had this entire just depressing just feeling of my gosh, this is horrible. it's horrible because our friend is sitting there in an ICU, hooked up and undergoing all this treatment, and his wife and son are just in the waiting room, and they can't do anything, and it's like they're relying on someone, and you depend on someone as a partner, as a father, as a husband, as anything. I mean, they both individually can hold their own, but together they are a cohesive unit, and they've been together since our freshman year of college. I mean, they got married in college. It's they they are they they're one of the few success stories that I know of, and it sucks to see friends suffer like that. And then I start feeling horrible about having those those complaints about not being able to sell a house or not being able to have run 3 properties or anything like that. And it's just it puts things into perspective, because when is it going to be my turn? How do I prepare for something like this? Because granted, the guy, he's still alive, don't get me wrong, he's probably going to make a really decent recovery after all this, but not everybody does. And if if I have everything in a shambles now and I'm in perfectly good health, just imagine if this was happening and I wasn't, and then Megan had to pick up all those pieces, because she and I don't tend to share a lot of the same disciplines when it comes to finances or everything else. I have, everything that I have set up, I get paid into one account, and then I have transfers from that account into another account that I will always have money there. I do it each week so that there's always a good buildup of money, so that when bills get paid out of that, I don't ever have to worry about it tanking, and it's all done automatically. Whereas, Megan still calls and gets her balance over the phone, from push button banking, and I, she doesn't do the automatic payment stuff that I do, and I have all these things zipping all over the place, and it's all a mess. And if something were to happen and she had to how do I take care of this? Are we prepared for that? And I don't think we are. And I know that's a discussion that we need to have, and it's a discussion everybody needs to have at some point in their life. We all are going to, sorry to say, all of us have an expiration date. We just don't know what it is. We can't see it on the label. It's when you're twisting a bottle around and you can't really read it. We don't know what that is going to be. We don't know what our lives are going to be like, and we don't know what our health is going to be like. And I've seen people start to reduce the amount of clutter in their life because they're getting older and throwing stuff out, and either because they're having an issue with their memory and they don't remember things, or they have just the dementia and they're like, this is acting out of character, or they just really want to reduce things. And I mean, even living in this big house, we tried to get rid of stuff, and we still have too much stuff, and we need to get rid of it, because I don't ever want to have to go through what my other family has gone through with their parents who have passed, and what what Bailey may have to do at one point, or even Megan, or God forbid if both of us go. But it's one of those things where how do you get everything ready to go? How do you prepare for that? How do you put all that stuff down? I can certainly give Megan all the passwords to all the accounts and have everything written someplace where she can access to it and log into things. But just in general, how does she keep the machine, how does she keep that bus on the road going 50 mile an hour so it doesn't blow up? And, I have said to her that once we get rid of my house, and once we get rid of her house, and we're down to one house, and I don't have to have 2 sets of utility bills and 2 sets of this and 2 sets of that, maybe it's time to start putting those things down to a more manageable manual machination. A manually manageable machination. How about that for alliteration? But the idea being that, like, okay, let her handle day-to-day stuff, or at least let us put it to a point where it's easily done by both of us. Come to a compromise on how we can do that. Like, yeah, okay, I will have some separate items. Like, I will definitely have my bank account be depositing money into my account, but have it maybe deposit into another account so that she can write checks or cash or pay bills out of it, instead of me doing it out of one into another and zipping all over the place. And of course, it wasn't a discussion I wanted to have the other night, because I was still just kind of like reeling from everything. But these are as we come to the end of the year and we come to flipping over of the 2022 to 2023 and the resolutions and all those types of things, perhaps it is a good idea to maybe simplify things and get it out of the realm of, I always was a set it and forget it kind of person. Like, I don't want to deal with having to remember to write a check or miss a piece of mail or something like that. So I always set it to, so it'll just automatically do what it's going to do. But as I found that I get into trouble then, because either when I was unemployed for 9 months and didn't have a steady paycheck coming in, and I had all those machinations happening, and I was like, what's going to happen there? Or, when I was just trying to take care of all the bills from going through a wedding and going through building a house and rebuilding a house and all that, and then I didn't have sufficient enough funds in one place to be pushed in another place, and then it became a big problem, and I had to take out a loan, and I had to, consolidate, and I had to do all this stuff, and it's just, there's got to be a better way. And I'm kind of like just spinning my wheels on all this because I really don't know what to say, and I know I want to try to hit a target of how much I'm talking about it, but it's, I'm still thinking about my friend sitting there in the ICU, and he, I'm sure that he's got it so much better figured out as far as their finances and everything else, and who calls who and who has to take care of this, and this person's coming this day, and the scheduling of all those things, and but it's different when you are it's different when you are the main or primary source of income and financial stability, that to keep this machine up in the air and running. And I got to figure out a way to make it so that it doesn't happen. And the only way I can think about doing that is by untangling all of the wires that I have set up, plugged into different sockets, and redesign it all and make it a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more of an elegant design, and try to get it so that it is not as confounding to other people, because I may not be able to explain those how those things work. I may be in a situation where I'm not able to communicate that way. I mean, I know other people that don't have that ability right now, and it's all just really, yeah. There's a lot of people who are worse off than me, and I don't know why I'm complaining. I mean, I know everybody has their own shit show that they got to manage, and everybody's is different, and it's all important to that person. It's the shit show is in the eye of the beholder. Doesn't matter which way you slice it. Your problems are your problems, and they matter to you in a certain way, and other people's problems may seem from an outside perspective like they're worse, but they aren't really, when you realize how much they have to deal with and how much you have to deal with. So, there are things, some of their stuff's easier, some of your stuff's easier, and it's all how you perceive it. So yeah. Well, anyways, we're going to continue on and getting back to it. We've almost got all the themes crafted. We've almost got all of our peeps trained up. We're going to keep doing that, and we will come back next time and do some more quests. And I hope you all have I hope you all had a wonderful holiday, Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and anything. And take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of the planet. Take care of your loved ones. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.